Hi, what's up everyone? This is Bob Pen. Yesterday, I gave you an overview of the SoS workflow engine, basically showing you how to create a SoS workflow by adding your scripts into a workflow and then specify input and output and parameters and how to execute the workflow. So those are the very basics about SoS workflow engine, and today I'm going to show you something a little bit more advanced, which are the makefile-style workflows and external tasks. So let's see what's going on here. So this is the workflow we have yesterday. So this kind of workflow, basically you specify each step or workflow. Say this is step 10, step 20, and then when the workflow is executed, so the steps will be executed sequentially, at least logically speaking, because the forward style workflow can be executed in parallel depending on how you specify your input. Anyway, so that's another topic. And you might have heard of another type of workflow. In that case, you do not specify each step or workflow. Instead, you specify how each files are generated from its dependencies and from the steps, and then when you specify the outcome you want, and then the workflow will try to figure out all the steps automatically for you to generate the outcome. SoS also supports that kind of workflow, and I will show you how to do that here. So for example, we have our second step here, and we know that for this one, the input is actually called dglist.csv. And this time I just changed the title so that it doesn't have the 20 or something. Just change it to another step. And let's see what we can do here. Remember, we already have the result here. Let's say target. Okay, this dash T is we want to have a target result.pdf. So what will happen is that target result already exists. So in this case, SOS won't do anything because you want something and that thing already exists. So let's just say result, remove that one and run that again. Okay. So in this case, it's trying to regenerate the result.pdf, but it says no auxiliary step to generate target. So that's something very important to remember for SoS workflow engine. So basically, if we want to specify a target, that target has to be provided by a step. Okay, that's it has to be specified. So let's say if we use the provides and result.pdf. Okay, let's run that again. Yes, you see, when we try to say we want the target result.pdf, and then this step it says to provide this result.pdf, and then you do not have to specify the output of so it will just say generate this step to generate the output. Okay, so when you look at this step, basically the provides says it generates result.pdf, and in this case the step doesn't have to specify output because that would be the default output for this step. So we can do something like this. Result. Okay, so what will happen is that when we say we want the result of the PDF, it goes here and try to find that. Okay, so this step is set to generate that. So this will become the output, the default output for this step, and then input, output, and execute that thing. Okay, then we know that this step requires a .csv to generate the output, right? So let's just remove this file. remove the CSV file. And then when we run that, we need to remove that file. Okay. No step to generate target DG CSV requested by plot. That means when we try to generate the result.pdf, the input file doesn't exist. Okay, so following the same logic, we can do something like this. Convert. We generate the provides dg list.csv. Okay. In this case, we say the output is not needed anymore, but we can specify that without a problem. So what will happen is that when we execute this again, because SoS will first look at this step. It tries to get the result PDF and look for the input file, but it found that it doesn't have that file. So it look at the other step and say which step can generate the DGList.csv, and it found this one, and then that's why it tries to execute the convert and plot those two steps to generate the outcome. So this is the very basic about how SoS works in terms of makefile-style workflow. But as you can imagine, this is very limited if you have to specify the exact file names. So actually, you do not have to do that. So for example, we can specify patterns. Okay, so let's see. Input is okay. So basically, I have generalized this step and say this step provides a CSV file with any file name, and then when this step is actually triggered and try to generate any CSV file, the pattern is matched so that the file name will become the name of the file, and then it says the input would need file name .xxx. Okay, so now let's just remove result PDF and dglist.csv. Okay, so that's the same. And if we say input is another.csv, if we want another.csv, then it will try to get another.xlxx, right? Let's see if that's the case. I know, I should have first remove that. Okay, so because for this step we require another.csv, so the first step, the convert step, is used to generate the CSV file from the Excel file. So this is the basics of the makefile-style of workflow of SoS, and actually something that you do not have to use makefile-style all the time. Actually, in SoS, you can use something that's mixed. What I mean is that I can do something like this as analysis.10. Suppose this is one step, and then I want to say this is input, and I'll say output is result.pdf. So in this workflow, basically we have a forward style workflow, and then for this style it requires its input file can exist, or maybe it doesn't exist. In case it doesn't exist, then it will try to generate that input file from other steps. So what I mean is that, okay, so if I run this time I do not specify the output, so I specify a workflow because this is called analysis. And then in this case, because the CSV file already exists, do we have, okay, we already have the another CSV, then it will just run this one. But if we do not have that, and I also need to, okay. Okay, so if we do not have that file, then the convert step will be used to generate that file before the forward style workflow can be executed. So basically this is called a mixed style workflow, and it's widely used in SOS because it's flexibility. Basically you can think in both ways. You just write down your analysis in sequential steps, but some steps might require others, and so and rows will be generated by auxiliary steps and based in a makefile style. Next, I will show you another feature of SOS, which is external tasks, which is a really powerful mechanism to execute large workflows. Say, for example, if this step takes a really long time to execute, you can specify this as a external task. What it means is that this part of the step process will be executed as an independent execution unit outside of SOS. What that means is that, say, if I remove this file and then if I run the workflow, this is a bad name, but okay, run this workflow called analysis. And then you'll see something different. Instead of executing this script directly, you are seeing that some task with a really long ID is started and is completed. If you have a look at the details, status, it will show you this one. I need to make it longer. So this is the task ID. This is the workflow ID. This is the step name. This part actually called the tags of a task, so that you know so that you can identify the task by its properties. And then it takes just 1 second to execute, and it's completed. And if you try to get more out of the status, you can see that the task is completed. It takes 1 second to run, and then there's a task, and there's an environment, there's a status. It even tells you the memory and CPU usage of the task. So although this task is executed locally, you might say, what's the difference between running inside of SOS or outside? One difference is that if you have a step process, I mean the input groups, if you are running multiple running this script for multiple input files, using tags will allow you to run them in parallel. But what's more powerful is that you can send your task to a remote host with either a more powerful workstation or a cluster system. So this is something kind of advanced, but I will just show you that if you have a configuration file, it's usually called the host.yml. And okay, in this file, it says what is your local machine. In this case, this is my Mac Mini, and there's you can define as many hosts you have access to. So this is a host. This is my local machine. This is the test for dev, and this is pro. This pro is my Mac Pro in my office, which is a much more powerful workstation. And this is our HPC and Nautilus, and you can see that this is actually has a Q type of PBS. So basically, you have all the definitions of different hosts in your host.yml file, and then when you execute your stuff, okay, let me just say remove the result, and if you execute your workflow, you can specify a queue. Say a queue is called Pro, which is my office, and then something really interesting is happening here, because when you execute the task on a local machine, basically you only see the start and complete. But in this case, if you are sending the task to a remote machine, SoS actually, because the remote machine doesn't have this input file, there's another .csv. So SoS will automatically send the input file to the remote machine and start and complete the task, and then receive the results back. So this is all automatic, so that because you see I have so many different machines defined in my host.yml, so basically I can do the same thing just by sending my tags to different remote hosts, to the clusters, all using a very easy syntax here. So anyway, so I think I will conclude this video, and I will show you more details about the external task later, and thank you for watching.